So sorry this schedule has been so messy lately. I promise you it's gonna get back to normal either this week or very, very soon. I'm sorry about that. So today I'm gonna be really original and I'm gonna be doing the coffee book tag. This isn't coffee, this is tea because tea. Question 1. Black. A series that is really hard to get into by some really hardcore fans. So for this question I obviously chose A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. This series is so incredibly hard to read and get into, especially towards later books. I've been reading this series for I think 3 years and I'm still on A Feast for Crows. Like, it's taking me forever. But I know for a fact that the people who do read this series are really invested and they care about the characters enormously. I do too, but you know, I'm not completely there yet. Song of Ice and Fire. It's a really good series, but honestly, it's so hard to get into. I mean, I suppose watching the series would help, but it's not really the same thing. We're not really counting the series here. Question 2. Peppermint Mocha. A book that gets more popular during the winter or a more festive time of the year. And for this question, I chose Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling because there's something about Harry Potter that just has that Christmas vibe to it. Especially this book, the first one, and like, you know, the earlier books before all the crap goes down. But there's something about Harry Potter that just gives you this whole Hogwarts and snow feeling that's like so cozy and perfect for the wintertime. Third question. Hot chocolate. Your favorite children's book or alternatively your favorite childhood book. And in this case I've got Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. This is my favorite childhood book. I read this over and over again as a child and I loved every single bit of it. I love Charlotte's Web so much and I cry basically every time, which is rare because I never really cry during books or movies for that matter. So yeah, I adore Charlotte's Web. Actually, I adore basically this entire thing, which is like a collection of stories by E.B. White. So there's Charlotte's Web, Stuart Little, and The Trumpet of the Swan. Question 4. Double Shot of Espresso, a book that kept you on the edge of your seat from start to finish. And this is a book I've been going on and on and on about, and I've done a review of it and it's great. And it is Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. I can't finish ranting about this book. It's just so good and it's so fast paced and it's brilliant. I actually read this during a readathon last year, the 24-hour readathon, and I finished it within like 2 hours. So it's perfect for a readathon. It's great and I cannot recommend this book enough. Just like read it. It's so good. And it definitely keeps you on the edge of the seat from start to finish. Question 5. Starbucks, a book you see everywhere. And for this question, I chose The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. This is not the normal edition of The Fault in Our Stars, as you can probably tell. This is my Project for Awesome special edition one. But my normal copy of The Fault in Our Stars is like way on the bottom of a pile of books or something, and I could not be able to get it out. So here you go. This is my shiny Project for Awesome version. Obviously, it's The Fault in Our Stars. You see it everywhere. And I live in Sweden. I still see it everywhere, both in the English version and the Swedish version. Alternatively, I've also got Divergent by Veronica Roth here. And I don't know if you know this, but you know, I live in Sweden, and Divergent and the Divergent series is really popular here. So you see these copies everywhere. Everywhere. Like, I mean everywhere. In every single bookstore, you will see Divergent sitting on a shelf. Both in the English version and the Swedish version. This is actually the Swedish copy, which I got for free at like a Hunger Games premiere or something like that. The Hipster Coffee Shop. Give a book by indie author a shout out. Now for this question, I'm gonna go a little different and I'm gonna give a fanfiction author a shout out. And that fanfiction author is Kurinoon. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but either way, yes, Kurinoon. And there goes my white balance. She's a rather famous fanfiction author actually, and she's written some really good Harry Potter fanfictions. And the biggest one, obviously, is The Darkness Within, the Dark Prince series, which is such a great series. I'm gonna link it below. But yeah, her work is beautiful and breathtaking, and you don't stop reading it until you're done. Next question. Oops, I got Decaf. A book that you were expecting more from. And for this question, I chose the Lorien Legacies series. This series was such a disappointment for me because this is the first book in the series. It's like the movie tie-in version. Don't watch the movie's terrible. I adored this book for a long time and it was brilliant and I couldn't wait for the rest of the series to begin. And I read the second book called The Paris 6 on my Kindle and it wasn't too bad. It was, you know, meh, you know, as sequels go, it was pretty okay, but you know, it wasn't great. And then I borrowed the third book from the library a few years later. And it was just such a disappointment. You just didn't care about the characters anymore. They were so annoying. And the writing style was just getting to me. And Honestly, I think the premise of this series was so good and had so much potential, but you know, it just didn't work out. And the last question is the perfect blend. A book or series that was both sweet and bitter, but ultimately satisfying. And the book I chose for this question is The Horse Whisperer by Nicholas Evans. This book is beautiful, heartbreaking, sweet, and just, you know, the perfect blend. I cried at the end of this. It's so vivid, it's so complex. I love everything about it. The characters are relatable, the plot is intricate, the descriptions are beautiful, and I cannot give enough good words about this book. The Horse Whisperer, guys, read it. It's so good. So yeah, that concludes my version of the coffee tag, and I don't really have anyone to tag, so if you want to do it, just go ahead and do it. But before I go, I want to make a small announcement. Next week, I'm going to be participating in Doobie's 24-hour readathon, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a 24-hour readathon. I'm going to read for 24 hours straight. And it runs from the 25th of April to the 26th of April, so whatever time. And I'll link to all the details below. But anyway, I just want to let you know about the updating schedule I'm going to have on this channel. So at 2 p.m. GMT +1 time, I'm gonna be uploading my first video, which is just my TBR list and like what my plans are for the whole night. And then 12 hours later, I'm gonna be doing an update video, which will probably be crap and probably filmed on my webcam, but you know, it'll be an update video to show like what I have read in the 12 hours and what my plans are for the next 12 hours. And then at 2 p.m. the next day on the 26th, I'm gonna be updating a final thing, which is how much I read, what I read, and what my general experience was. That's all from me this week. I will see you during the weekend, and I hope you're happy.